Hello, good morning. I know it's pretty early if you're on the West Coast. I am on the East Coast, so it's like the middle of the day. Let me know where you're coming in from. How is the weather where you're at? It's like we're like in that special space of like perfect cool mornings and hot afternoons where I'm at, and we are loving it. But I can definitely feel that like fall is peeking its head around the corner. It's coming for us, and I'm very excited for that. I've really enjoyed the summer though. It's been a huge shift business wise and personal life wise. There's been a lot of new and exciting things that that have kind of came out of nowhere and kind of shifted a lot in life, but that kind of happens. So it's been enjoyable. It's been a wonderful summer. Let me know what's going on with you. Do you have kids going back to school? Are you going back to school? It's just, I can't believe August is over and summer is over. It's almost done, which is wild to me. So I wanted to talk about notifications today. I have seen so many people in the DMs of the creators that I work for who are struggling with all of the notifications. Just like the creators, yes, but also just everybody. It seems like we have so many apps in so many different places and so many notifications just all of the time. I don't have a magic secret potion for this. I don't have an answer for this. I wish I did because I think it's an overwhelming issue and a hard thing for everybody right now. So I'm just going to tell you what's worked for me and how I have structured this in my business. Um, and truth be told, it's not a fail-proof system. It was a little bit of a rough month for me, business-wise. I kind of got some aggressive nudges in certain directions about where I need to be focusing my time and energy. I'm shifting more into supporting creators versus just small business and like solopreneurs. I've been in that space for a while. And I've just kind of had a couple of experiences lately that are telling me I think I need to focus solely on creators. It seems that that's kind of what I'm best at, what my team is best at, and kind of getting rid of the side of my business that was more admin related and helping solopreneurs with more admin work. I've kind of shifted more into like a social media creator space, but it's still systems and it's still setting things up so that technology isn't overwhelming. So I'm excited about that. It's been good, but it has been some lessons have been learned this month. So first off, the name of my business is called Sunshine Lane. And truth be told, I never thought that name would see the light of day. I came up with it in my kitchen. I thought it was cute. I have a whole story behind it that I'll tell you soon, but I never thought that I would be sharing that with other people. I kind of just thought, people would hire me, Shelby, as a behind the scenes virtual assistant, social media manager kind of thing. And as I've worked in this space, I've grown, which has been wonderful. And I've also outgrown my time. Like I had to start hiring subcontractors, and I've been so blessed to work with amazing people. And it's been really fun as I kind of set up my business around the idea of Sunshine Lane. So the entire idea of Sunshine Lane is that there's the busy interstate of entrepreneurship, and I think all of us get on entrepreneurship highway. We're excited. We are going places, and a lot of times you are missing the views. You are missing the fun, I don't know, little side quests that entrepreneurship can often bring. So the idea of Sunshine Lane is it's a exit off of entrepreneurship highway and more of an enjoyable route of entrepreneurship where you roll your windows down, you turn your music up, and you're enjoying the ride. You're not just going down the highway. Um, and so that is what I've built my entire business around is more of a slow-paced approach to entrepreneurship where you're savoring the moment and you're getting to like I know when I go on a road trip, not everybody is this way, but if I see a sign for something that I think is interesting, like a cave or, uh, I don't know, a historical spot, I love those have been some of my favorite adventures on road trips is if we have the time getting off the exit and exploring somewhere new that we literally just saw a sign for and did no research on. So the idea of Sunshine Lane is kind of allowing entrepreneurship to be the fun, slow-paced road trip versus the trying to get to grandma's house as fast as possible road trip. And because of that, I have set up speed limits on my Sunshine Lane that I feel like are the best way to experience Sunshine Lane. My contact is attacking me right now. um, and the truth of it is, sometimes people ignore those speed limit signs. So that has kind of been one of my hard lessons this month is that people are going to ignore your speed limit signs. And just knowing like how many tickets, I guess, is too many tickets. And so on Sunshine Lane, one of my speed limits is that we are very intentional about the notifications that we are sending each other. That way, things aren't just randomly popping up on your phone, text messages, pings on Slack, pings on like your project management tool, social media, all of that. Like it's very intentional what we are pinging each other for. That's the point. So the first speed limit or the first like guardrail, maybe that's a good one, I put into place is regular check-ins. And this applies to both my teammates and my clients. A lot was solved when I decided to do this with my initial client because we realized we were pinging each other questions throughout the week that weren't actually time sensitive or relevant. Some of them would be about a show that I was producing in a month. And I didn't need to get pinged about that at, 6 o'clock while I'm doing dinner. That was something I could answer the question at the following morning. And once I put in place that we have a weekly call where we kind of check in with each other and we kind of see, what's going on, where we're at, it was so refreshing because every time I've set up a Notion board where it's just our call notes, and what that really means is like random things that come up that can wait. And there's a list for my client, there's a list for me, or a list for my teammate, whoever it is. And everything we kind of like brain dump into that call notes so that when we do get on the call, or even if, and this has been amazing, this was kind of an unexpected side effect of these, if my client has extra time in a day and they're going through Notion, they can just pop in those call notes, answer the questions there without us even having to get on a call. And then when we get on the call, we only have 4 things to go over instead of 10 things because they've answered 6 of my questions just by filling in the call notes. So that's made like a huge difference in my working space, and just a little tidbit as to why it's important. I know we all know regular check-ins are important. But the second thing I would say is having some sort of system where each project lives, or for me, it's each show that I'm producing lives. So we have one space for each show. So, for example, a show that's on September 2nd, we have all the graphics there, we have the title there, we have the guest there, we have any research that we've done on the guest, anything we need to remember, links, things like that. All of that lives in a page on Notion. So as we go through, especially a weekly show can be a little bit cumbersome because it's just like it kind of feels like if you don't have a system, if you don't have a place to put every like note for each show, it can kind of just feel like bah, bah, bah. So that has been super awesome. Notion is the one that I have landed on. I've used Monday, I've used ClickUp, Asana, I've used those other tools. I think any of them can work. For me, I just got to a point where I was changing tools so often that I knew like I needed to stick to one. And I'm so glad it was a Notion because I have loved, loved, loved the Notion, the way that they've gone with, they have AI built into it now. I'm very excited about this new feature of the forms that's coming soon. So like a place for the client to give feedback or teammates to give feedback that's built into Notion, which is great because I've been trying to use Typeform for my check-ins, and oftentimes it gets forgotten about because it's not in Notion. So I'm very excited about that. And they just launched a new graph section. So you can see, for me, how I'm using that is that my team has different clients that we're working on. So just making sure that we're like allotting the amount of tasks and time to each client. It kind of gives me an overview of like if we're imbalanced on the work that we're doing. And it's been really interesting. I've only had it for, I think they came out with it like a month ago, but it has made a huge difference. And it just is awesome to have a space for each task. And I know like this is a common thing for people, but remembering to communicate in that task instead of texting or, um, you know, putting it in different places. It's just nice to have it all in one space in Notion versus email, text, whatever. And that is huge. But I will say, this is the one that I struggle with most in my business is kind of teaching, or I think it's like more of a rewiring of your brain for clients and for teammates. Of, if you have a question for Shelby, it goes in Notion. It doesn't go in an email, it doesn't go in a text, it goes in Notion. And what this does, as far as notifications, for me, I know if my phone pings and it's a client or a teammate, I know it's time sensitive, I know that it's urgent, and I can actually like, I will put things aside to work on that. But when I have multiple texts coming in about things that aren't time sensitive, I'm not going to lie to you. My phone is for my friends and my family. And oftentimes, if I get a work thing, I forget about it because when I'm signing on to work, I'm signing on my computer, and my computer is where everything work lives. And if I don't have it on my computer, it's not in my work brain. Like I was just joking with a somebody I had a Zoom call with last week where it's like we were DMing on Instagram, and I was like, okay, I have to put you in my work brain now. Like I'm gonna send you an email for my work email because right now you're in my fun like my fun brain on Instagram. But if we have something work related, it has to go in my work brain, which is my email or my Notion. And that's kind of like anything that can be accessed on my computer is where all of my notifications need to be. So I try to respect that about my teammates' time, and I'm not perfect about it by any means. I will text in Marco Polo things that probably should just be added into Notion. But that's kind of the speed limit. And I appreciate when I kind of get a ticket myself on Sunshine Lane where it's like, Shelby, you need to like put this into Notion so that we can kind of keep everything nice and organized and in one space. So I'd love to hear what project management tools you have used, what you've found useful. I know for me, it's just mostly the switching back and forth of tools that caused me so much overwhelm. Having Slack, email, like I think I had Monday. I've used Monday. I've used Basecamp is another one that I've used, and not like sticking to one tool made it much easier to communicate via like email and text. And then once I transferred everything and rewired my brain to Notion is where everything goes, that was the thing that just cleared up my phone and made my work life so much easier and so much more simple. So, and then my last thing that I would like to mention is probably what you've expected, just some good old fashioned boundaries. Like when you need, I've noticed for myself, it's always so when I sign off for the day, it always feels like everything is super urgent. Everything has to be done right now. I'm going to forget about it if I don't get to it. And what I've noticed is if I close my computer, so I sign off at 3, if I close my computer and I go outside for 30 minutes, by the time that I get like back inside, it's almost like it like just kind of drains away what's not important, and the only things left are like the very very important things. I also have a whiteboard where I brain dump everything before I walk away from the computer, so that I know that I'm not forgetting anything. But sometimes I'll come back to, because I have little ones, I sign off, I go play with them for 30 minutes, and then I know what I'm gonna have to do at bedtime or nap time, or those, like, you know, those tasks that just are still here. Those are the ones that I'm gonna try to tackle in my, extra time space that I have later on in the evening. Just by the way that I work, I try to have, like, a section of time in the day that's, like, very specific to I'm working right now, and then I have, days where I'm working slash helping the kids, and so that kind of protects that time where I'm not constantly on my phone or my email, because it's really, really easy, especially if you're trying to juggle childcare and work, to just constantly be checking email, making sure you're not missing anything, and having your computer. Like, I've caught myself on days where I'm with the kids where I'm just carrying my laptop to the kitchen, to the living room, outside, like, just so that I can get little tiny pockets of work in. And I do think that that has to happen. I have certain days, I call them kitchen table days, where I am doing that, where my kids come first and then my work. And then I have other days where my work, I'm not saying it comes before my kids, but I am prioritizing work as, like, on Mondays, like, mom is prioritizing her work brain kind of thing. And that has helped me big time to have kind of a structure of, like, priorities, I guess, on different days. Because here's the truth: is what I've realized after doing, like, the staying home with the children and working thing, is most of the time, if you are swapping, so, like I'm saying, so Monday I'm in work brain, Tuesday I'm in kid brain, Wednesday I'm in work brain, Tuesday, Thursday kid brain. And what I mean by that is that it allows me to kind of let things go on both sides throughout the week, but because I'm staggering it, this could be horrible advice, but because I'm staggering it, it has worked for me for almost 5 years, where things aren't getting missed. Because usually in my line of work, it's okay if an email doesn't get answered in 24 hours. So if I get it at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday when I'm in kid brain, if I answer it by Wednesday at 11 a.m., most things are like that. Most things are good to be answered within 24 hours. And the things that aren't go to my phone from my team or my clients. And those are the things that, no matter what brain I'm in, I can kind of, answer. So, and then just, like, communicating when you're offline, putting out on an out of office email reminder. And I've noticed too, and I'm curious if anybody else has noticed this about themselves. A lot of times it's your own anxiety or brain that's making you think, you're behind, or you're not getting to work things fast enough. And once I, like, put in place some systems to keep my brain switching back and forth properly, it relieved a ton of stress for me. Another thing is I got me an old fashioned watch too. Um, and that's actually been the single best thing that I've done recently for both work and my kids, is that I have my watch and I know, 30 minutes, nobody's gonna die if they don't get a response from me in 30 minutes, usually. I mean, whatever line of work you're in is yours, but, like, for me, in 30 minutes, it's usually okay if I miss a notification, if I'm in my working minutes, right? And most of my clients and my team know when I'm in my working time. But if I need to slow my brain down, or if I can tell one of my kids really needs me and I'm in my work brain, just a good old fashioned 30 minutes on my watch with them outside or playing a game or doing something, seems to reset everybody. And because I'm watching this watch, I'm not freaking out about missing something at work, because sometimes 10 minutes of playing monster trucks can feel like an hour. And so when I'm actually looking at how many minutes have passed, I'm like, "Okay, like, it's not the end of the world." Like, the clients, the teammates can wait for a second while I am answering to my children or my home. Maybe I need to clean the dishes or whatever it is. And it's just kind of helped me balance a little bit better the work home life situation, which is never easy. It's never like, oh, yay, like I figured out all of these wonderful things. And now I'm just such a pro at working and watching my children like at the same time. That is hard work. And if any of you are also trying to juggle that, like, cheers to you. I don't care if you're working like 40 hours a week, 20 hours a week, like I 10 hours a week, with your brain having to process like, okay, what, I don't know, do I need to order diapers? Do I need to make a dentist appointment? And also all of the things for work of like, okay, did that email go out? Did for me it's always like, did we schedule that show? Did we get those graphics put together? Those kind of things. It's just a lot to manage and a lot to juggle. And the notifications, yes, they come from your phone, they come from your computer. They're loud and annoying, but they're also coming from your environment for me specifically. Like it's like I see like my dishes might as well be pinging me. Like it's like I know you need me dishes. I know I need to get you done, but um and it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. So I think I hope that some of these tips, just having some sort of regular check-in with your teammates, with your clients, even with yourself. I wish I had that book close to me. I have a book um, by Dean Carell, and it has just little nuggets of like good work advice. And so what I've been doing every morning, it's literally like a page. So like one of them, for example, was like expressing gratitude. And I actually blocked off a time block on Fridays to write thank you notes. And it has been so much fun for me to sit down on Fridays and be like, okay, who in my life can I write a thank you note to and just show them some sort of appreciation? But side note, the whole point of the book is that he has just like one pagers of like good business practices, things to remember. And for me, I would read that, I would plan out my day, and then I would get into work. And it seemed to be a good check in with myself, like a check in of like, okay, I've got a humongous board of tasks that need to be done for literally all of my clients. I even have my family on there because I've noticed if I don't put them on the board, some of my tasks for like, you know, pay this bill or order this don't get done. And so what I do is I read a page from Dean Carell's book. I look at my board and I prioritize which tasks need to be done first, second, third. Anything after that is just like icing on the cake. And then I kind of get into work. And that's been a really good check in for myself. So, regular check ins with your clients, with your teammates, with yourself, some sort of project management tool like Asana, Monday, Basecamp, those kind of tools to kind of help you keep your brain organized in each task. Because inevitably there will be tasks where you run into roadblocks or you have to take a break from. Oftentimes I'll get interrupted mid task, and it all kind of lives there, stays there for each specific thing. It's much more organized. And then just having some sort of boundaries with yourself. For me, working in social media, it is exhausting to work in social media and then I'm human, people. I get off social media, that like work social media, which is different for me. Work social media and like my social media is different. But still I get off and I'll scroll my phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am so exhausted of this. And so what I've been working on, not perfect at it, is on Sundays, I try to just be completely off of my phone, and completely off of social media, and it's such a good reset. I will say sometimes, so I'll be really good at posting, and when I do that Sunday reset, I'm like, I have a hard time like posting again for some reason. It just kind of like does kind of make my like motivation kind of go a little bit because I do like this reset of like, oh, it's so nice to just be off my phone. But again, having systems in place, like having scheduled out LinkedIn posts or even in Notion, I have a content calendar where I'm brain dumping content ideas. Then I can kind of go in there, restart my social media brain on Mondays and kind of start drafting different things for different clients and kind of get in that like space and kind of restart. So just having those good boundaries with yourself, with your clients, making sure your clients know where and how to communicate with you, making sure that things are just easy for everyone, and that's been a struggle for me as I've scaled my business. Making Notion work, it worked really well when it was just me and the client, and having to make it work with how many of us are there at such a like 5. Anyways, our team has grown and it's wonderful, and having all of us kind of like use Notion the same has been very interesting to watch how different members of my team use Notion and how it makes sense to their brain has been super cool, and like a ton of good information and feedback for me, because me saying like, okay, client, like here's how to use this doesn't always work. And I don't actually want it to work that way. I want them and my team to use it how it makes sense for them. And it's been really good feedback. So some sort of system, Notion for me has been awesome. And then just doing your gosh dang best, people. Just know that everybody is overwhelmed by their notifications, by their phone. You are not alone. It's just kind of the state of the world that we're in. So just be kind to yourself and just know that I am cheering for you. And if you have any suggestions, let us know. Let us know how you're managing all of the pings and the dings, and even your household pings and dings from your dishes and your laundry and all of that. Just, yeah, share all the tips, because I'm telling you, I do not have it figured out. There's a couple of things that have worked for me, and I hope that they will be useful to you. But just know we're all doing the best that we can. So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the August. I am super excited. I have a guest coming on in September and October. Um, One is we're talking about kind of the balance, the working mom balance kind of thing. Another one, she's got this really awesome community that I'm a part of, and I'm super excited to share more about that. And next month, I'm going to go over Restream versus StreamYard. So switching gears a little bit. StreamYard is the tool that I've used for 4+ years to stream here on LinkedIn and YouTube. And I have been exploring other tools. So today I went live using Restream, one of their competitors, and I am loving it for a lot of reasons. And I've literally started making pros and cons lists for the two platforms, and I am so excited to kind of share that with you, because I wish I had had that when I was looking for a streaming tool. So I'll kind of go over what I love about Restream, what I love about StreamYard, and the difference between the two next month in September. So keep an eye out on LinkedIn, and I will schedule it on YouTube as well. But thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you if you're watching the replay. Let me know if you have any questions. Send me a DM. I am always an open book, and I'm all about us swapping secrets, everybody, so we can, I don't know, figure out this life. So anyways, good seeing you. I'll see you next month.